दिखाया गया। ये आप लोग डिजिटल में थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करो, उसके बाद मैं ब्लैक बोर्ड में कराऊंगा। ओके, व्हील कैसा बनाया गया, लेसन 8 में है ना व्हील, जैसे हमेशा घूमते रहता है व्हील, गाड़ी में है, रिक्शा में है, वैन में है, कहाँ भी व्हील किस तरह घुमाते घुमाते बहुत ईजी हो गया व्हील बनाने के बाद ही। ये आप लोग डिजिटल में देखो, उसके बाद मैं एक्सप्लेन करूंगी। ओके,
Human settlements found in the Indian subcontinent are almost 2 million years old. Today, we recognize them as early man. We have the information about this ancient period because of the remains of the tools and weapons. This prehistoric or ancient period of the human civilization is termed as the Early Stone Age. The tools that were found in the prehistoric period states the importance of stone during this age. Facts to know. Archaeologists have used lengthy terms to describe this particular time period that we are studying. They have termed this earliest period as the Paleolithic Age. This word is coined from two Greek words, paleo meaning old and lithos meaning stone. Facts to know. The Paleolithic period spans from around 2 million years old to about 12,000 years. This long stretch of time is divided into the lower or early, that is, period when man was a hunter and gatherer, middle and upper Paleolithic, that is, the transition from gathering to grown food. This long span of time covers 99% of human incidents in the history. During early period of his life, man was only a hunter and food gatherer. Generally, man hunted wild animals and birds and caught fish for his food. The immense variety of people.
हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, देखो पहले जमाने में क्या करते थे, आदमी जंगल जंगल में घूमते घूमते ऐसे एनिमल्स को मारते थे कि कुछ ट्रीज का पत्तियां, फ्रूट, फ्लावर ये सब खाना होता था। और उनका क्या है इसमें, देखो एनिमल्स मार रहे, ये देखो ये ह्यूमन बींग्स, कहीं के अर्ली ह्यूमन बींग्स, वह बहुत पहले के इन लोग का लाइफस्टाइल इसी तरह ही था। देखो बालक देखो कितने बड़े बड़े कपड़ा नहीं शरीर में, ये सब ऐसे ही था। ओके, अभी कितना साइंस आकर कितना तैयार करती है, हाँ?
Plants in a tropical land like ours signifies that gathering plant produce was an extremely important means of obtaining food. As water is essential for life, early man always lived near riverbanks or streams. Early man moved from one place to the other in search of food or for hunting. He traveled from place to place and covered long distances on foot. Time to discuss. Why did the early man move from place to place? Answer. There could have been many reasons behind this. Firstly, they had to travel in search of food. If they had stayed at one place for a long time, they would have eaten up all the available plants and animal resources of that place. Secondly, the early man was a hunter. Animals also moved from place to place in search of their prey. Therefore, man had to keep moving in order to follow their movements. Thirdly, plants and trees bear fruits in different seasons. So, people in the ancient period could have moved from season to season in search of different kinds of plants. Humans, plants, and animals need water for their survival. Hence, early man stayed on the banks of the rivers. So, early man could have moved in search of water during the dry seasons, that is, winter and summer. The early man constantly performed activities that enhanced his knowledge. He kept on acquiring advanced information regarding hunting and rearing animals, birds, and vegetation. He collected all such information, and the give and take of this knowledge and information led to the use of signs and gestures. This is how the advent of the sign language took place. Stone tools. Archaeologists have found remains of some of the things that were made and used by the hunters and food gatherers of the prehistoric period. It is likely that ancient people made and used tools or weapons of stone, wood, and bone. Out of all these tools, the tools made out of stone have survived the best. From these tools, we can presume the activities of the early man. Hunters and food gatherers must have used some of these stone tools to cut and chop fruits and roots. Some of the tools may have been attached to the handles made out of bone or wood in order to make spears and arrows for hunting. Besides using the tools for hunting, he might have used them for other purposes, like digging the ground for edible roots and stitching clothes made out of animal hides. Facts to know. Archaeologists have found the remains of some stone tools at Hunski, located in Karnataka. Early man might have used these tools for many different activities. Some limestone tools have also been found at certain places in Hunski. Discovery of fire. Traces of ash have been found at Kubrul caves in Andhra Pradesh, which suggests that the ancient people were familiar with the use of fire. Fire could have been used by man for a number of purposes, such as a source of light, for cooking meat, and also for protection from wild animals. Time to think. How do you think fire was discovered by man? It is generally believed that fire...
हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, ये देखो एंशिएंट टाइम में जो पुराने जमाने में लोग क्या करते थे, बैठे बैठे दो पत्थर लेके मार मार के आग जलाते थे। देखो आग जलाया गया और ये जलाने के बाद ही वो लोग खाना बनाते थे। हैं, ये जलाया और ये पत्थर के इसके उससे आविष्कार किया, ये है। इसी तरह आग आप जला सकते हैं और इसमें आप खाना भी पका सकते हैं। और अभी जमाने में कैसे हो गया, गैस, केरोसिन, पेट्रोल, इसमें से आग जलता है। देखो कितना खोद खोद के दिमाग धीरे धीरे इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है। हम काम करते करते में दिमाग आगे चलता है। ओके,
Fire was discovered accidentally by the prehistoric man. He could have lit fire due to friction caused while striking stones together. Forest fire must have taught them about the existence of fire in vegetation. Imagine living without fire today. Think about the various things we would not be able to do if fire had not been discovered by man. We would have to face many difficulties in today's life if we didn't have fire. We would not be able to cook our food, no light in the dark. We would not have precious metals, tools, ornaments, machinery, etc. Can we cook food in our kitchen without fire? Then what kind of food will we have? No, we can't cook food in our kitchen without fire. We will have to eat raw food, which is totally tasteless. However, nowadays we do have other options like the electric stove, which enables cooking food without fire. On which day of the year we don't light fire in our kitchen? Yes, on Shitla Satam, we don't light fire in our kitchen. Discovery of wheel. Time to think. What would have happened if wheel hadn't been discovered? Can we imagine living in a world without wheels? If wheel hadn't been discovered, then there wouldn't be any vehicles. Imagine the time people would need to travel. There would be no machines, no windmills. Imagine our national flag without the Ashok Chakra, and much more. The discovery of the wheel is considered to be the most revolutionary. Today, the wheel is used on a wide scale. Discovery of the wheel has given momentum to our development and ease to our life. Wheel is widely used in almost all of the man-made machines in some or the other way. Time to discuss. Which kind of changes would have taken place in early man's life after the wheel was discovered? Many revolutionary changes would have taken place in man's life. Early man could have used the wheel to move grain from place to place. Initially, he would have made two-wheeler carts, and then he would have made the four-wheelers. In this way, he didn't have to lift heavy weights. Slowly, he would have started using it in different areas. Animal rearing. Initially, early man hunted animals in order to get his food. Animals migrate from place to place due to the changes in the environment. As man hunted these animals for food, he had to follow these animals to faraway places. Slowly, early man started learning about animals, their food habits, breeding seasons, etc. It is likely that this knowledge helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals. In this way, they wouldn't have to go to far-stretched areas for hunting. Animals are a very important source of meat. There are plenty of milk animals such as cow, goat, buffalo, etc. This might have led them to believe that rearing animals would satisfy their demand for food on time. Besides using animals for food, they also used animal hide for clothing. And it is likely that after the invention of the wheel, they would have started using animals to draw their carts. Time to think. What are the ways in which animals are used by man? Today, man uses animals for agriculture, business, traveling, entertainment, etc. They are also used in circus, street plays, and for carrying loads. Human of cave. Early man was always in search of places where stone of good quality was easily available, since stone tools were very important. Moreover, people liked to stay in safer places during the early times. Their best option was to stay in the caves which were situated on the banks of the rivers. People stayed in these caves for a long period of time and made tools. Archaeologists have found the remains of the stone tools from these places. These ancient sites can be called a factory or habitat cum factory of the early man. We have found blocks of stone tools that were made and perhaps discarded as they were not perfect, and chips of grey stone as well, left behind at these sites. Time to discuss. Why do you think ancient people preferred caves along the riverbank as their habitat cum factory? People chose these natural caves because they provided shelter from the rain, heat, wind, and protection from wild animals. They might have chosen to live on the river banks in order to satisfy their needs of water and fishing. Water supply facilities for irrigation was attained easily for agricultural purposes over a period of time. Facts to know. The evidence of the early man's lifestyle has been discovered in central and northern areas of Gujarat.
Burials of people and animals of Mesolithic age have been excavated from the region of Langanj and Arkaj of Sabarmati and from Amrapur village of Mahi River in Gujarat.
This proves that these sites near the riverbanks were the rock shelters of the people belonging to the Mesolithic age. Bhimbedkar. We have gathered evidence of the early man's shelter from Bhimbedkar in present-day Madhya Pradesh. Many such natural caves and rock shelters have been found in the Vindhyas and the Deccan Plateau. Many of the caves in which the early man lived have paintings on the walls. Some of the best examples of caves with painted walls are in Madhya Pradesh and southern Uttar Pradesh. These paintings depict wild animals drawn with great skill, accuracy, and detail. Facts to know. Paintings depicting animals like horses, bison, woolly rhinoceros, reindeer, and bear have been found in a cave discovered in France, which is located in the continent of Europe. These pictures are painted with bright colors. It is possible that these paintings were made on ceremonial occasions. They might have been painted for special rituals or after anyone's death. Time to discuss. How do you think colors were made during the ancient period? Early man might have made colors from minerals like ochre or iron ore, charcoal, stone, and vegetables. Changing environment. Changing environment has played a vital role in the life of early man. Around 25,000 years ago, there were some major changes in the climate of the world, which included a shift to relatively warm climatic conditions. In many areas, this led to the development of grasslands. This, in turn, led to an increase in the number of herbivorous and carnivorous animals. This change has made it possible for the early man to learn about their food habits and breeding seasons. It is likely that this development helped people to start thinking about herding and rearing these animals. This was also the time when several grain-bearing plants, which included wheat, barley, and rice, grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. Men, women, and children probably collected these grains as food. Slowly, he might have learned where and how it grew and when it ripened. This may have led them to think about growing plants on their own. Signs and gestures must have slowly led to the rise in the language development. Meeting each other frequently might have placed the thought of society among them. Facts to know. Archaeologists excavated burials of many animals like pig, deer, goat, and sheep from Mehergarh, which is situated in Balochistan in Pakistan. This evidence proves that people of that time would have been rearing these animals. In the ancient era, Mehergarh was the village where wheat and millet were grown for the first time. Who did what? We have seen that the ancient people hunted, gathered plant produce, fruits and roots, made stone tools, and painted on the walls of the caves. Yet there is no evidence about who among men or women must have been doing these activities. Like man must be making tools, women must be painting walls, or man must be gathering fruits and nuts. It is likely that both men and women might have done many of these activities together. It is also possible that men and women divided tasks. Again, there could have been different practices in different parts of the Indian subcontinent. Along the passage of time, he must have developed certain life skills. Early man must have learned to be civilized. He might be socialized until now. Time to think. Can you think of the tasks performed specifically by both men and women? Yes, cooking and nurturing of children is done by both of them. Now name any two tasks which can be performed only by women. In today's lifestyle, it's not possible to have any task which is done only by women or only by men. Prehistoric period. The remains of the early man excavated by archaeologists states that people started living in houses built of mud bricks in the early 4th century BC. They herded and reared many kinds of milk animals like sheep, goat, etc. It is evident from the remains that the art of weaving, that is, the art of making earthen pots and metal art, was well developed. This culture is known as the ancient Harappan civilization. Facts to know. Ancient Harappan civilization flourished around Indus River Basin. At present, we can see the remains of the Harappan civilization in the Harappa region of Pakistan. Conclusion. The journey of the early man's life progressed towards the modern society. Gradually, man developed his intellectual capacity. He developed various skills with time and also adopted better strategies for hunting. He specialized himself in hunting some distinctive animals. He inculcated the practice of artistic signs and symbols. He adopted tactics of farming and harvesting, and also domesticating animals. Man today, despite being at the peak of development, is still progressing further on the way of development. Project work. Students will draw the pictures of tools used by the early man and those which are used today, that is, modern ones. Compare them in terms of their usefulness and state its reasons.